Here's everything I ate at the Savoy Grill by Gordon Ramsay.
After our incredible dining experience at restaurant 1890, we are back at the Savoy, this time trying one of Gordon Ramsay's most famous restaurants.
Now, there was one main reason for coming here. James has been wanting to try Gordon Ramsay's famous beef Wellington for years. I surprised him with a meal here for his birthday dinner so he could finally see if it lives up to the hype.
We opted for the Taste of Savoy, which is the 6-course menu here. It would have felt wrong to start the meal with anything other than a cold glass of champagne. The first course was this little gougere, which was filled with smoky creamy cheese.
It was sitting on a bed of pickled walnuts and was a nice little flavor bomb to begin the meal. Next came out the bread service, and I think this was a rye sourdough. It was super earthy and nutty and full of flavor. I swear James ate like 5 pieces of this and they just kept bringing out more. Next we had an oyster with a tomato and elderflower mignonette.
Full disclosure, I had no idea what a mignonette was and I had to Google it. Turns out it's just a specific sauce for oysters. Who would have thought? I'm not the biggest oyster fan, but this was very light, fresh and tasty. Next up was the smoked haddock souffle, and this tasted exactly like if a fish pie and a souffle had a baby. Someone had done a stellar job at whipping those egg whites because the souffle was so light and fluffy. And then those smoky, fishy, cheesy flavors just worked in so well with the dish. Then it was time for the moment of truth. Was this beef Wellington gonna live up to the hype?
This looked absolutely stunning, and I am so happy to report that it tasted as good as it looked. That beef was tender and just impeccably cooked. The mushroom layer added moisture and a lovely earthy flavor.
And the puff pastry outside was perfectly flaky and buttery. And of course, the red wine jus just brought the whole thing together.
On the side were the silkiest mashed potatoes I've ever had in my life. Honestly, I could not fault this dish. It was perfection. For dessert, we got this raspberry vanilla and lime eclair.
I wouldn't say this was the best eclair I've ever eaten, but it was certainly the fanciest. I did really enjoy the flavor combination of the tart raspberries with the creamy vanilla, but I think the pastry was just slightly lacking for me.
The meal finished with a little petite four in the form of a fruit jelly, which I cannot for the life of me remember what flavor it was.
Overall, I would rate the dining experience and the food at restaurant 1890 slightly higher than the Savoy Grill. However, this was worth it just to try that beef Wellington. It is going to live rent-free in my head for a very long time.
So which Gordon Ramsay restaurant should I try next?